Welcome back, Stern Grovers from around the world. I'm Dr. Jaz Sawyer, and we are here at Class 4 of the Virtual Education Program presented by the Stern Grove Festival Association. So we're going to do some jamming today with our drum circles, so let's go ahead and begin. Okay, drummers, so I'm sure you've checked out Class 1, 2, and 3 by now, and that's where we reviewed all the important parts of the drum circle and the elements and what we need to get started in terms of identifying our instruments, who's going to start off the drum circle, and creating your own groove. Okay? So we'll do a quick review before we actually get into our drum circle because I want to introduce something else to you, which is the roll. Okay? So remember, some of the things we covered were call and response, right? The musical phrase where a person calls and usually the group responds. We also talked about starting and stopping. We talked about cues, using our eyes and ears to watch each other so we know when to start and when to stop. We also talked about tempo, how fast and slow we play, right? And we also talked about dynamics, how soft or loud. So this is going to help us create our arrangement. An arrangement is how we put the song together in different sections. So let's get into that. Okay, drummers, before we get started on our drum circle, let's review a checklist of items to make sure we're all together. Okay? First, you want to determine what instrument you're going to play. Remember, you're going to play either a hand drum or possibly a stick drum, right? Something where you use a drumstick. You might also have a shaker, right? And you've already explored different sounds you can get out of the instrument, right? So sometimes remember, if you have something like a cowbell, there's only really a couple sounds you can get out of it, right? Your low tone and your high tone. So a few things to remember about leading the drum circle is you're going to be the one giving the cues for the tempo, how fast and slow you go, and that can be in different sections. The dynamics, right? How soft or loud that we play. And then also cues, so we know when to start and stop, right? And that way we start together and we finish together. So all of these important parts of the drum circle are going to help us develop our arrangement, our musical arrangement. So when we talk about arrangement in music, what we're talking about is creating sections, right? And putting them all together into something that sounds really good. Also, the person leading the drum circle will give the cues for the call and response. Okay, so here's the first example, back to back. Okay, good. Now here's a call and response that's out of tempo. Okay, so what that means is we're going to take a little pause between each of our call and responses. All right, so I'll do the first call and response. I'll take a little pause. I'll make sure you all are paying attention or watching my cue, and I'll go ahead and kick off that second one. So here's an example. So in our drum circle musical arrangement, these are the things we're going to use. Call and response, which sounds like so. We're also going to use cues to start and stop. Okay? So here's an example of a cue to start. I have my eye contact. I make sure everybody's ready. Okay? One, two, three, four. Okay, now I'm also going to cue to stop. And what we're going to do when we stop, right, we're going to end on that one, that beat one, also known as the downbeat. Okay? So the downbeat means that everyone's going to know where that one beat is, okay? And that's also going to come from me cueing, right? Whoever the drum circle leader is, to use their eye contact and their ears, okay? To make sure everybody's on the same page and we are finishing the song, okay? So here's an example again. We're going to start with a cue and then we're going to end with the cue, okay? With the head nod. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So not too hard, right? Just want to make sure that when you stop, everyone is looking at the leader of the circle. That way you all will really sound fantastic because you'll stop together, and that's when it really sounds good. And we're also going to use different tempos, right? And remember, tempo is how slow or fast we play, okay? So here's an example of 2 different tempos. And what do we have to do before we transition into a new tempo? Guess what? We have to give a cue, okay? And remember, in our musical arrangement, once we establish what it is, we'll already know that there will be a tempo change, okay? So for example, I'm going to do a start cue at one tempo and a stop cue. And then the second tempo, again, I'm going to give a starting cue and an ending cue. Okay, so here's 2 different tempos. And once we play and do some examples, you see how it all comes together. So here we go. Here's our first tempo, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's our second tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now you can see that will give us some more musical possibilities to make the arrangement more interesting. And remember, you're going to create your own groove, right? So once we get in tempo and we know what the tempo is, you have to figure out your groove. And remember, the best advice is to start simple, and as you get more comfortable and you do it more, you can start to add some of those 16th notes and 8th notes and get a little busier, right? So for example, here's a simple groove on my hand drum, right? And I'm just going to use quarter notes. Very easy. Here's my tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I'm going to play an example of using our quarter notes and 8th notes. And remember, the way we play our 8th notes and count those out is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Remember, with a AN. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so since I'm playing my groove, I'm going to try it on different beats. Okay, just to see what I like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's try our quarter notes and 8th notes using different sounds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's try to use some 16th notes. Now remember, we count our 16th notes: 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, right? 1 is your beat, E, and then A-N for N, and then U-H, right? So one beat is 1 E and a. And then we finish out the measure with beat 2, 3, and 4, right? So 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay? So let's not get too fancy with the different sounds. Let's just try to use quarter notes, eighth notes, and 16th notes and see what we can get from that. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so one thing we didn't touch upon in our class 3 is another thing we can use in our drum circle, which is called the roll. Okay, so we talked a little bit about how to work on that, and over time you'll get it really fast and it'll sound really cool, but the only way to do that is to practice slow. So what we're going to use is the single stroke roll. Okay, and what that means is right, left, right, left. If you're left-handed, guess what? You start with the left hand. Left, left, right. So you want to, as fast as you can go, roll, right? Play right, left as fast as you can, where you don't hurt yourself, but that it sounds like a rapid sound. Okay? So watch this. So here's our roll. And the roll is going to be faster than the 16th note. Okay? Remember, just go as fast as you can. It's not a contest, but what we're trying to do is get a roll so we can have some more interesting musical options. So here's our roll, and I'm going to use that using a head nod cue. Okay? So we're going to use our head nod cue once again. When to start and when to stop. So here we go. Ready? And then we're going to stop. Let's try it again. Okay, good job. Let's try that one more time. And remember, don't worry about how fast or slow you can go. We just want to try to capture the roll. Okay? So just do your best. Here we go, one more time. Playing position, here we go. Okay, so let's make this even a little more interesting. We're going to start to use our dynamics in the rolls. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to start soft on our roll, and then with our head nod cue, we're going to come up, and then we're going to come back down, and we'll cue the stop. We're going to start slow. I have my head down. Okay, just before we start, one very important thing we want to make sure we do in our performance. The first thing is to be ready to play. So before we actually start the tempo off or start our arrangement, what I like to do is do 2 deep breaths. And this way, it gets your mind, body, and spirit centered and focused on all the things you have to remember. Okay? So let's try this. We're going to breathe in for 3 seconds and breathe out for 3 seconds. And we're going to do that 2 times. How many? 2 times. Okay. So we'll breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth. So here we go. And you can close your eyes if you like. Helps you focus a little better. So breathe in. Breathe out. One more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, and then you can also do 3 shoulder rolls going backwards, and then 3 shoulder rolls going forward. All right. Okay, and loosen those hands up and loosen those arms up. Get that blood flowing. Okay, that's all right. All right, do a little neck stretch. Okay, and make sure you're comfortable. Also remember, if you're playing stick drums, make sure your spaghetti pot or your frying pan or your lid, you're all set up so it's not going to move around or fall off the table. Okay, so make sure you do some test arrangements, right? So, and you always want to sit up straight so you can get all that energy and put it into your drum. Okay, and now we have rest position, which is simply, if you're a hand drummer, you can just be on rest position, right? Because we're resting. We're not starting the song yet, so we want to rest. Then we have our playing position, which means we're ready to go. So we have our hands on the drum, so that way when it's time to play, we're ready. If I have some more stick percussion, right, I would just simply rest on my lap or maybe on the sides of my legs because I'm not ready to play yet, right? I'm resting, and when it's time to play, I'll be ready. So rest position with a stick. So rest position with a drumstick here in your instrument. Now playing position, now I'm ready. Like you'll see the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra. When they're not performing or they're in rest position, right, the violinists may have it resting on their leg and they have their bow on the side. Okay? And then when they're ready to play, that's playing position. We are ready for our drum circle arrangement number 1. I'm going to play the cowbell with my left hand so I can participate with you as the responder. 2 caller responses, a soft roll. On cue, we start our groove, and on cue, we end with 2 caller responses. Rest position, playing position. Okay, you all are going to do great. Here we go. One, two, start your groove. ready for our 2 caller responses. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're ready for our drum arrangement number 2. So we're going to do 3 drum rolls, soft and loud, 1 call and response out of time. Then we're going to start our groove. Then we're going to have a fast call and response, just 1. And then we're going to end with a loud roll. So again, 3 drum rolls, soft to loud, 1 call and response out of time, which means once I call, I'll give you the cue to respond. Then I'll count us in for our groove. Then I'm going to do a fast call and response, and you're going to have to be right there responding, okay? Then we end with our loud roll. Okay, we've taken our deep breaths in, out, in, out. And we've done our shoulder rolls, right? Front, back, and we've got our blood flowing in our hands and arms. We're in rest position. Now we're in playing position. Here we go. Ready? Tempo 1, 2, 3, 4. Get ready for our call and response. Here's our loud roll. Okay, drummers, we're ready for our drum arrangement number 3. Now this one's going to be a little tricky because we're going to put a new tempo in there. So here is our arrangement. 2 call and responses, a soft drum roll, then we start our groove, then on cue we're going to stop and I will cue the new tempo. So we may be in a tempo here and then I'll cue the faster tempo, right? I'll count it off a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're in that new tempo, okay? Then we're going to end with 2 drum rolls, loud to soft. Okay, so one more time. 2 call and responses, soft drum roll, groove, cue for the new tempo, and then we end with 2 drum rolls, loud to soft. Let's try it. Roll. One, two, start your groove. fast tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get ready for our 2 drum rolls going out, loud to soft. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great job. Congratulations, drummers. You have completed Class 4 of the Virtual Education Program presented by the fantastic Stern Grove Festival Association. We covered a lot in our drum circles, so I encourage you to go back to classes 1 through 3, and we talked a little bit about the intro to drumming, the importance of the African diaspora and some of the things that come out of that, such as call and response, right? The caller and responding in a musical phrase. We talked about rhythm, right? How to define that and using our quarter notes, eighth notes, and 16th notes so we can come up with all kind of rhythmic possibilities. We also talked about tempo, how fast or slow we play. We talked about dynamics, how soft and loud we play in music. We talked about the difference between stick drumming and hand drumming, right? And remember, you want to play simple when you have an instrument that when you don't have 2 drumsticks, it may be easier to play a simpler rhythm, okay? And everybody learns at their own pace. I want to encourage you to check out the other incredible education programs that the Stern Grove Association have provided to us all. So until next time, I'm Dr. Jaz Sawyer, and we will see you for Class 5. So keep practicing and always have fun.